On May 20th, 1967, Stephen Michalak, a Holocaust survivor, industrial mechanic, and an amateur geologist, was attempting to prospect around Falcon Lake in Manitoba, Canada, for quartz and silver. Instead of striking riches, he would have a UFO encounter, one so famous the Canadian government even minted coins of it. The incident happened while Michalak was mining where he thought a vein of quartz would be. After hearing a large group of Canadian geese honking and scattering, he looked towards the lake, but he saw two large circular objects floating in the sky. One of them took off into the sky while the other one began floating down towards the earth, landing around 200 feet from him. Michalak believed the object to be a new experimental military aircraft that was malfunctioning and being forced to land, so he approached it, seeing if the pilots of the craft needed assistance. As he got closer, he observed greater detail of the craft, which he sketched, shown here. Noting he saw no rivets or welding on it, it was made of a smooth metal alloy. Also not seeing any icons or emblems that would show what country had made the aircraft. He also reported an overwhelming stench of sulfur the closer he got to the UFO. A door opened, and an extremely bright purple light radiated from the open door. Michalak had to put on his welding glasses he kept as eye protection while prospecting to be able to look at the aircraft. The light was so bright. When Michalak heard two voices speaking, he called out in English if they needed help, but the voices speaking went silent. He then called out in Russian, German, and Polish, to no response. Michalak had by this point gotten close enough that he reached out and touched the object, which melted his glove. The UFO then spun the vents towards Michalak and blasted him with something that blew him backwards and set his shirt on fire. Michalak would flee the area as the flying saucer rose back into the sky. He was later admitted into a hospital for chemical burns the blast had left on him, which made a red grid mark pattern. He also experienced fatigue, nausea, and vomiting, and hair loss, all symptoms of radiation poisoning, but radiation poisoning was tested and was found not to be the cause. Both Canadian and United States authorities researched Michalak's claims. Project Blue Book's findings were inconclusive, neither being able to prove or disprove his story. Now on to the theories about what happened that fateful day. Theory number 1, the extraterrestrial theory. Michalak had stumbled upon an alien spaceship that had landed in the Canadian wilderness for some reason. They may not known Michalak was around initially. The voices speaking but then going quiet if he tried to call to them would indicate this. The blinding light and sulfur smell may have been a warning or attempt to keep him from approaching further, but due to him having welding glasses, he was able to approach the craft much closer and even touch it. Either the aliens or the ship itself deployed some kind of non-lethal defense with the blast that he was on the receiving end of. The red grid mark pattern left on his chest has been linked to other alien encounters, like with Paul Sinclair, the author of Truth Proof series. He had a red grid mark pattern on his right forearm after his alien visitation. The red grid mark phenomenon has actually been seen more frequently in recent years. Even a whole Facebook group is dedicated to this strange patterns appearing on people's bodies out of nowhere, with the leading theory being extraterrestrial technology-related origin. Theory number 2 is the demon theory. Unintelligible voices, strong sulfur smell, physical illness, and marks left on bodies are effects experienced by Stephen Michalak, but also that people have experienced when under demonic possession or influence. In this theory, the alien ship would have been a hallucination that the demon made for deceptive purposes to cause him physical pain, emotional distress, and social ridicule. The third theory is the secret government weapon theory. This next theory comes from Michalak himself. He never claimed the UFO was not this world, either physically or spiritually. He believed unto his death in 1999 that his initial belief of it being a top-secret military project of either the Canadian or U.S. governments were testing deep in the wilderness of Canada that he accidentally chanced upon. I feel this one is least likely because if we had that advanced technology in 1967, it would have came to light by now, almost 60 years later. The fourth and final theory is the hoax theory. Michalak lied about his encounter, and the marks were self-inflicted. The deception was to keep people away from his prospecting area so he could be the only one to claim any precious minerals found. If this was just a scheme, it was a bizarre way to do it, and it had the opposite effect of bringing more attention and visitors to the area. If you are interested in learning more about this case in greater detail, check out the book When They Appeared by Stan Michalak, Stephen's son, which contains his father's first-hand account in greater detail of how it was affecting him and his family in the years following. Let me know which theory you most agree with in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.